Hey, hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to English Listen Easy. I am Jack.
And I am Emma. So happy you are here with us today. Really, truly happy.
Emma, why do you sound so cheerful today? Did something good happen?
Yes, actually, I found $5 in my jacket pocket this morning.
$5. That is the reason for all this happiness?
Jack, finding money you forgot about is one of the best feelings in the world. Do not take that away from me.
You are right. I take it back. That is a great feeling.
It felt like a gift from my past self. Like past Emma was thinking about future Emma and said, "Here, you're going to need this."
Past Emma is very generous.
She really is. Okay, I am in a great mood. Let's do this.
So, today's topic, and I've been curious about this for a while actually, how many words do you need to know in English?
Oh, that is such a good question, and I feel like nobody really talks about it.
Right? Like everyone says, learn more words, study more vocabulary, but nobody says, okay, how many exactly?
And that number matters, because if someone told me, you need to know 50,000 words, I would just give up right now.
Same. I would close the book and go home.
But if someone said, you only need 1,000 words to have a basic conversation, that feels possible.
That feels very possible. So, wait, do you actually know the answer? How many words do you need?
I did some reading about this, and the number is smaller than most people think.
Okay, tell me. I'm curious.
So, for basic conversation, just to get through everyday life, most people say around 1,000 to 2,000 words.
1,000 words, that's it?
That's it for the basics. And the most common 1,000 words in English, they cover about 80% of everything you hear in daily life.
80%. So if I know 1,000 words, I can understand 80% of what people say to me?
More or less, yes. Of course, you will still miss things, but you can follow most conversations.
That's actually really encouraging because 1,000 words sounds like a lot, but it's not that many when you think about it.
Right. If you learn 10 new words a day, you get there in 100 days.
Okay, but we both know nobody learns 10 new words every single day.
Nobody. That's not how it works in real life.
Okay, but wait, I want to go back to something. You said you were curious about this topic. Actually, what does curious mean exactly? I want to make sure our listeners know this word.
Oh, good catch. So, curious. Imagine you see a box on the table. It's closed, and you really, really want to know what's inside. That feeling, that's being curious. You want to know something. You want to find out.
So, like a child who asks why about everything. Why is the sky blue? Why do dogs bark? Why do we sleep?
Exactly like that. Kids are very curious. They want to understand everything around them.
I like that word, curious. It's a good feeling to have when you're learning a language.
The best feeling. If you are curious about English, you'll keep going. You'll keep asking questions. You'll keep looking things up.
Okay, curious. We'll come back to that word, but first, tell me more about the vocabulary numbers.
So, the basic level is around 1,000 words. But if you want to feel comfortable, like really comfortable, most researchers say you need around 3,000 to 5,000 words.
3 to 5,000. Okay, that's more.
But here's the thing, you probably already know more words than you think.
Do I?
Think about it. Hello, goodbye, thank you, please, yes, no, I want, I need, I like, I don't like. That's already a lot of words right there.
That's true. And words like pizza, taxi, internet, coffee, those are the same in many languages.
Exactly. So you're not starting from zero. You're starting from maybe 200 or 300 words already.
That's actually a really nice way to think about it.
And the most important thing is not how many words you know. It's how well you know the words you have.
Say more about that. What do you mean?
So, for example, I know the word beautiful. I know what it means. I know how to use it. I can say, that is a beautiful day, or she has a beautiful voice. I know that word really well.
Right.
But then there are words I know the meaning of, but I can never remember them when I need them. Like, I know the word means when I read it, but when I'm speaking, it just disappears.
Oh, I know that feeling. The word is in your head somewhere, but you can't find it fast enough.
And so you end up using a simpler word instead, which is actually fine, but it shows that you don't really own that word yet.
Own it. I like that. Like some words you own and some words you just know a little.
Exactly. And the goal is to own the words you use most, not to collect thousands of words you never use.
Okay, I have a story about this. When I was learning Spanish, we talked in a previous episode about my Spanish adventures, I used to write long vocabulary lists, like 20 new words every day.
Oh no, the list method.
The list method. I had notebooks full of words. I was so proud of my lists.
And?
And I could never remember any of them when I actually needed to speak, because I learned them on paper, not in real conversation.
So you knew them on paper, but not in your mouth.
Exactly. They lived in the notebook, not in my head, and definitely not in my mouth.
Words that live in the notebook. That is such a perfect way to say it.
I spent maybe 3 months writing lists, and at the end, I could not hold a basic conversation because I knew a lot of words, but I did not own any of them.
So all that time kind of wasted?
Not completely, but mostly yes. I was curious about new words, but I was not using them, and that is the problem.
You were collecting, not learning.
Collecting, yes, like stamps. Pretty to look at, not very useful.
A stamp collection of Spanish words.
Exactly. Very organized, very useless.
I did something similar, and mine is maybe a little embarrassing.
Perfect. Tell me everything.
So I used a flashcard app for about 6 months, and I was very consistent. Every day, new words. Every day, review old words.
Okay, that sounds actually good.
It sounds good, but here's the thing. I started choosing words that I thought sounded interesting, not words I actually needed.
What do you mean?
Like, I learned the word melancholy. Do you know that word?
Melancholy. That means sad, right? Like a deep, quiet kind of sad.
Yes, and it's a beautiful word. I love the way it sounds, melancholy.
It does sound nice.
But Jack, when have I ever used that word in real life? When has anyone come up to me and said, "Emma, how are you today?" And I said, "Oh, I'm feeling a little melancholy."
Never. That has never happened.
Never. And yet I spent time learning it when I could have been learning, I don't know, how to ask for directions or how to talk about my job.
So you were learning beautiful words, but not useful words.
I was learning words that made me feel smart, not words that helped me communicate.
I think a lot of people do that. It feels good to learn a difficult or interesting word. It makes you feel like you are really studying.
But at the end of the day, the goal is to communicate, not to impress people with difficult words.
Although, melancholy is a great word.
It really is. I stand by melancholy.
Okay, so what is the actual advice here? If someone asked you, what words should I learn first, what would you say?
I would say start with the words you use in your own life, every day. What do you eat? Where do you go? What do you do at work? What do you say to your friends?
So, personal vocabulary first.
Yes, because those are the words you'll actually use. And when you use a word, you remember it. It moves from paper into your head and then into your mouth.
And then you own it.
And then you own it, exactly.
That makes so much sense because I remember the word for coffee in every language I've ever tried because I use it every single day.
Coffee is universal.
Coffee is the most important word in any language.
I would say yes, without question.
Okay, listeners, quick break. If you're enjoying this episode, please share it with someone who is learning English and subscribe if you haven't done that yet. It really helps us keep going.
It really does mean a lot. Okay, back to words.
So we said 1,000 words for basics, 3 to 5,000 for real comfort, but I want to ask, is there a number where you can say, okay, I know enough words now?
Honestly, I don't think so.
Really?
Because language is alive. New words come in all the time. Old words change meaning, and it depends on what you want to do with the language.
What do you mean?
Like, if you just want to travel and order food and ask for help, 1,000 words is probably enough. But if you want to watch movies without subtitles, you need more. If you want to read books, you need more. If you want to work in English, you need more.
So the number depends on your goal.
It depends on your goal completely. And that's why I think the question is not, how many words do I need? The question is, what do I want to do with my English?
And then work backward from there.
Exactly. Figure out what you need and then learn those words first.
I really like that. And it's less scary than saying, I need to learn 50,000 words before I can do anything.
So much less scary. Start with your goal. Start with your life. Start with the words you actually need.
And be curious about the rest.
Yes, be curious. That's the best way to keep going.
Okay, so today we talked about how many words you actually need, which is less than most people think.
We talked about the difference between collecting words and owning words.
And Jack's stamp collection of Spanish vocabulary.
Very organized, very useless.
And Emma's love of the word melancholy.
Which I stand by completely.
And the main idea, start with the words you need for your life, not the words that sound impressive.
Own a small number of words really well. That's better than knowing a big number of words only on paper.
Okay, bonus tip before we go. Emma, take it away.
Yes, so listeners, here's one simple thing you can do today. Take 10 words you already know, words you use a lot, and try to use each one in a sentence about your real life, not a sentence from a textbook, a sentence about you, your day, your feelings, your plans.
Because when a word is connected to your real life, you remember it.
You own it. It's yours.
Not just a word on a list, a word in your life.
And listeners, don't forget our word from today.
Curious. Be curious about English. Be curious about new words. Be curious about the world around you.
Because curious people never really stop learning.
And that is a very good thing.
All right, one question before we go.
How many English words do you think you know right now? Write your guess in the comments. We're curious to find out.
See what we did there?
Very smooth. Take care, everybody. See you in the next episode.
Bye. Keep learning one word at a time.